Welcome to this week's GCN Tech Clinic. This is the show where we answer your bike tech and maintenance related questions that you have been leaving in the comments underneath our videos, preferably using the hashtag AskGCNTech. Right, we'll do our best to answer as many questions as possible within the allotted time. Connor, over to you.
Let's do it. Right, this has been sent in by @NotSteven. We've heard time and again, you can get free speed with tyres, then wheels followed by Pro Fit. What then is the best speed upgrade? A coach?
Right, so this is a question that I have always asked myself. What's better, to go out and spend money buying parts for your bike to make it faster, or invest the money in a coach to make you faster? What are your thoughts?
So my personal opinion on this, I think bike fit is the number one actually. I think that is like one of the biggest upgrades, getting your bike fit right.
So you'd start with that?
Because if it's wrong, you're limited, totally limited from the start.
Okay.
Then I think tech to a certain point.
Okay.
Like if you upgrade to a certain point.
Yeah.
Above a level when it gets into more marginal gains.
Yeah.
And then I think it's training a coach and working on yourself. Like the body's the one making the bike go fast.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of in agreement with you, but I guess the difference is, I think the potential gains that you can make through improving your fitness through a coach, for example, far outweigh any of the gains that you could get through just changing parts on your bike. But it's the hardest bit to get because it takes the time and the hard work. You can just go and drop your money on the bike tech. You can be like, walk into a bike shop, I'll take the lot. As long as you've got the funds to pay for it or a credit card, you've got immediate gains. Whereas like the fitness aspect, you've got to work a lot harder for it.
But the gains from the fitness are greater than if you just went and dropped a load of cash on
100%. And I think more rewarding because you know you've had to work a lot harder for it.
Yeah.
And ultimately riding your bike is about going out and riding it and enjoying it and getting fitter and faster.
Yeah.
So.
But I strongly believe bike fit precedes all of that.
Okay, I'm with you on that. Right, Miko Notorious 580 next. Hi folks, I've just found my dream frame and I had to buy it. It's an older frame and it came with a square tapered bottom bracket. My question, should I keep the square tapered bottom bracket or change it for a newer type? I don't want the bike to race, but since I've got a new crankset, I'd like to know what type has the best power efficiency and transfer. Thanks in advance, keep up the good work. So I'm going to throw it out there. I don't have any test data or numbers to discuss in terms of old type bottom bracket versus new, but if you've got a newer type crankset that you would like to use, you're going to have to run the new type bottom bracket to go with it, which if you're running Shimano, they've used the Holotech 2 system for absolutely ages now, and square taper is a pretty old design, which is also quite heavy.
Yeah, so I think the same.
Yeah.
It's going to be cheaper to upgrade your bottom bracket and keep your new crankset.
Yeah,
if that's what you've already got.
That's the best thing I would do. And even if you've got obscure threads or sizes, there's a million different bottom bracket options and converters and adapters out there to pretty much make everything work with everything.
Yeah, so I'd switch the bottom bracket out.
Yep.
Yeah, I hope that helps. Old man with bikes, send this one in. Love that.
Ollie, is that you?
I have a question on brake rotors. When replacing my Shimano rotors, I had ordered some third-party ones. But upon receipt, I found the rotor is thicker than the Shimano ones. Can I push the brake pad spacing to fit these, or do I need to have ones at the same thickness as the Shimano ones?
Right. I tried something very similar to this at home the other week, and official best answer is to use the correct brake rotors for the brake system that's on your bike, the correct thickness. If you are trying to use rotors that are marginally thicker and you've got new brake pads in, you probably don't have the clearance in the caliper to get the pads back far enough so there's enough clearance between the rotor and the brake pad. And you're probably going to either run into an issue with brake rub, or you're going to have really, really short lever travel where you pull the brake and it is just immediately on. So my advice would be stick to the correct width rotors as what the bike's intended to. That doesn't mean you can't go for third-party different manufacturers, but just don't use a brake rotor that's wider than what it's first made for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next question.
Save Time 101, they say, can I ask your advice on what I need to achieve the following? I currently run a SRAM Rival eTap 11 to 32 tooth cassette. Can I straight out change the cassette for a larger one, 1142, without having to make any alterations, i.e. front derailleur, chain length? Are there any other cassette recommendations that we could have? Greatly appreciated. Well, firstly, you really can only use the size cassette that the rear derailleur is rated and capable of. And as far as I'm aware, on most SRAM rear derailleurs, they have the cassette max capacity written on them. And I'm going to assume SRAM Rival eTap probably can't quite deal with a 42 tooth, but it will be written on it. And the other changes that you're going to have to make if you go for a larger cassette, you're going to have to adjust the B-limit screw, and you, in almost all cases, are going to have to get a longer chain, aren't you?
Pretty, that's a big jump. You'd need a long chain for that.
If it was me and you really wanted to make a big change to your gear ratios, I think max out the capacity of your rear derailleur, and then you're going to have to start looking at chain rings. Yeah, okay. That's my advice, Tony.
Lazaboyman 8003. I'm doing the Fred Whitton. Lots of people doing the Fred Whitton.
Yeah.
And saying they're going to be doing it. Doing the Fred Whitton this year. Should I run 28 or 30mm tyres? I'm focusing on comfort, as I don't think the 2mm will slow me down. 30mm tyres.
30mm tyres.
Yeah,
although I did recently test a bunch of different tyre widths in the wind tunnel, and also the rolling efficiency rig at Silverstone. So I'm going to have a video coming out on that soon. But let me just say, the differences of the 2mm in tyre width is very, very small.
Yeah.
There is a difference, but it is very small. So I would prioritise the extra width for comfort.
Yeah.
Gary Jackson next say they're thinking of getting a new GPS head unit. However, at 60 plus years old, my eyesight has deteriorated for reading screens in poor or bright light. Can you recommend any particular hacks or brands that cater for us oldies? Well, this is simple, right? The brand is almost irrelevant in my eyes as long as the screen is clear, but you just want to get the biggest head unit possible.
Yeah.
Bigger display, bigger numbers, and the trick that I would suggest would be minimise the number of different metrics on display so the text is bigger on the screen as well.
Yeah, that's it. I'll give you the same advice. My dad is 60 plus as well, and he's having similar issues with his eyesight.
Wahoo Element Ace is going to be right up his street.
Well, it's just like it's so much easier to read if you have that larger screen, no matter which device you go for, and you do notice the difference. So I would look for that. There's plenty of options out there now. I myself have been using the Element Ace, and I find if I'm doing anything navigation-wise,
And you're 60 plus as well, aren't you?
No, but I am further away from my handlebars. Got very long arms.
I've not thought about that.
Yeah, so look at.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. I was holding that off for so long.
Were you sneezing?
Yeah.
Camera sneezing.
So right, put our arms this way and compare them.
My arms.
Mine's longer this way.
My arms really long, so it's a long way to my head unit.
Just going to have to take our word for it. Connor's got longer arms.
Yeah.
Right, you okay over there, Jacob?
Cameraman's got some hay fever issues. Apologies.
Right.
We will be putting him in the punishment dungeon after this show.
Right, next question is from Jay Relford. They say, question about tyre pressures. God, I love these ones. I've got a Canyonero that has 2 different tyres, 25 front, 28 rear. When using the Silka tyre pressure calculator, I calculate them independently and inflate each tyre to what the calculator says it should be. However, I'm not so sure if it's taking in all of the variables into account. If I do it that way, i.e. weight distribution and so on, is there a better way to get the pressure right? For the record, I'm running the all-black Conti GP 5000s that are fresh off line. The one time I visited the Continental Tyre Factory. You're racking your brains here. I feel like I've got a good answer to this. Shall I go?
So if this was me,
Yeah.
I think I'd do what you did and calculate the tyres independently.
Yeah.
And then that would be it.
I think that's perfect. Yeah. That is the most accurate way of doing it.
Yeah.
So the weight distribution isn't changing. Like your body position isn't changing. And you need to get the optimum tyre pressure for your system weight, which isn't changing, for each relative tyre. So I think what they're doing is the correct process. Don't doubt yourself. Have faith in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're doing it right. Keep doing it.
Okay. Eduardo Carval Honeto 909. In Ollie's special about restoring an old bike, he cleaned the group set using ultrasonic cleaner. What solution did he use in the cleaner to get the parts so clean and shiny? Was there something else other than just the ultrasonic cleaning process?
Well, this is one of the products they use when it's clean the chain and the stuff that has all the rubbish grease and stuff on it. And the other product, this is the chain stripper from Silka, but it's not 100% intended for that. The other product is their bio-degreaser, which you can just put into the ultrasonic cleaner and it will help scrub away all the dirt that's in there. Essentially, you just need to have a bike-friendly cleaning solution in the ultrasonic cleaner, and it's like, jobs are good then.
There we go.
Yeah, pretty simple that. Right, that was this week's last question. I say it every single week. If we didn't get to your, not hashtag, save that, just save that. If we didn't get to your questions, I'm really sorry, but be persistent. Put it in the comments section down below using the hashtag.
Hashtag AskGCNTech.
Right, see you later, bye.